Hey, it's Al Angelo from, A Plus Racing. And we're bringing you another video on our Econo Build Spec Miata. What's it going to be this time? I don't like these little short studs. All right, short studs are a pain in the ass. So I like to switch these cars to long studs, and I actually like to use the Euro one. So let me show you the difference. I got them right here. Got them from my buddy Ben over there at Advance. All right, so here's what they look like. Come on in, zoom in close here. All right, so these are called Euro studs, all right? And you even say it right there, Enduro studs. So what it's because they have a rounded tip to them. And so this makes it easier to get the rim and tire off and on the car. So they do have some that are just flat like that, and those work good too, but I like using the ones with the rounded. They're a little easier. Now, here's the problem on the 1.8 cars. On the 1.8 cars, the rear studs are different than the front studs, okay? So when you're ordering some new long studs for a 1.8 car, you have to order 1.8 rears and 1.6 fronts. I don't know, that's just what it is, okay? If you got a 1.6, an old NA, then you could run the fronts and the rears. It doesn't matter, they're all the same, unless somebody has switched the upright. So if somebody switched the upright to a 1.8, from a 1.8, you got on a 1.6, you could end up having to have the bigger studs. I can kind of tell the bigger studs, not only from the knurled edge right here, but the 1.8 studs have a flat spot cut out right here. All right, so that's how I can tell this is a 1.8. So hopefully we're not going to run into a problem here where maybe somebody put a 1.6 upright on here. Because when I see a brand new nut like that, that means that somebody's been in here. Okay, so very easy to install. Okay, it doesn't take long at all. I'm also going to get rid of this heat shield, and I'll show you my trick to that. I'll also show you the trick on how to put these in without having to have a press because, well, you subscribe to my channel. All right, let's get started, all right? Okay, first thing is I got to take all this stuff off, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and take off the 10mm bolt. Mike, I don't know if you can get in here, see where my finger's at. So I'm going to be taking off that 10mm slider bolt right here so that I can get the caliper off, all right? So I'm going to go ahead and take that off. And sometimes it might have, whoops. Sometimes it might have a plastic black cap on it, and because they came from the factory like that, and every once in a while I'll still see one that still has that plastic cap. And this is my lower slider. Okay, so there it is right there. All right, so I take that off. All right, now the caliper can come off if the emergency brake's not on. The emergency brake is on.
Reese is here. He's got really long arms.
I don't have.
Reese.
We got Reese here. Reese works for me.
Reese,
either lower it or jump up here.
Reese, come here.
I gotta make it OSHA compliant.
So I know you've never seen Reese before. We don't like to put him in the videos. We keep him like in a small room, you know. We only let him out certain hours of the day, you know, when nobody's around. And so, yeah, he doesn't even know what the sun is. All right, thanks, Reese. Okay, all right, so there, and then I just slide it off. Okay, like that. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and take the brake pads off. It's got Hawk Blues on there. Yes, I run Hawk Blues. I like running Hawk Blues. I stick with what works. All right, I don't care how old school it is. All right, so now I got to take the bracket off, and that's going to be a 14. There's going to be 2 bolts back here where my fingers are at on those 2 14s, so that's what I'm taking off. And then that's going to get it to where I can take this bracket off, and then I can just go ahead and pull the rotor off, and that's going to expose everything that I need to get to. So there's one. And there, and this comes off. Okay. Those are the 2 bolts that are going to go right there. So set that up. All right, and now the rotor will come off. So if I'm just changing out a rotor, now's a good time. We'll set that down. Okay, So I have my studs, and I want to get rid of this, okay? So all I got to do to the studs is just knock them out, all right? So all right, okay. I guess, oh, you know what? Look at this thing's cracked. Come on here and check this out. This thing's already broken. Look at that. It's broke. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to lift the car up a little bit. And this shield, I want to take the shield off. And it's going to make it easier for me to get these off when the shield's off. Right where my finger's at. Can you come in here, Reese? And Reese is taking over the camera duty. Right here, there is a piece of sheet metal that is attaching this sheet metal to the hub. I'm going to take a chisel and I'm going to break that off right there. And so, here, I'll hold it. Okay, so now you can see that sheet metal is right there. I'm going to take it and I'm going to take a chisel and I'm going to break that off. It's almost already broken off. Look at that. And then we're going to pull that thing off. So we'll be back in just a minute. Okay, so we're back here. Look, I got the thing off. It was already cracked, man. This thing was half broken off of there. It's a good thing we just took it off anyways. All right, that thing's garbage. All right, so now I got the studs here. It's going to make it a little easier to get them out. Okay, like that. There's a little spot right here where this lip is not as big as like on the other side. Like if I was trying to push this one off, it wouldn't come off. You know, if I was trying to get that one off there, it won't go off there. So I bring it down to here, and then I can get them out of there. Sometimes I hang on to a couple of these. You never know when you might need one. All right. Okay, so these ones have a little notch on them that make it a little easier to put on. So all I'm going to do is slide it in here. You know, I guess we should make sure they're the right ones. Oh, you know what? Look at that. It's a 1/6 hub. Can you see it? Look at the difference. See how this one is smaller than this one? That's a 1/6 upright. That screws up the video for today. So I got to go find me some 1/6 studs so that I can change these out. But that's a problem we run into sometimes. All right, we'll come back with a solution. Okay, so those things totally screwed up our video. But some of you guys are like, hey, I like it because you run into problems and then you don't edit it and you just move forward. So we're moving forward. So this is a 1.8 Euro stud. Okay, I already told you that. This is a 1/6, all right, but it's not a Euro stud. Okay, so you can see the difference in the size. Somebody replaced this upright with a 1/6 hub, not a 1/8. All right, so that's why this has 1/6 studs on it. So I found some 1/6 studs, some extra ones I have. One of them was a Euro stud. The other three are not, but it'll help me finish the video and we'll be back on the track because this car has to go to Thunder Hill in 2 days. If anything's going to go wrong, it's going to go wrong. So what happened was we bought our brand new Euro stud 1/8 for our 99 Econo Build Spec Miata, and this upright ended up being a 1/6. So it uses a much smaller stud than the 1/8. So you can see there's the difference that you can see between a 1/8 and a 1/6. Now, this one comes from the manufacturer with the little notch come out of it. The 1/6s don't. So what I did is I went ahead and I ground just a little bit off of there. You don't have to, but it's going to make it go in a lot easier. All right, because I'm going to need to go in right here. So I'm going to line that flat spot up right here and then go ahead and tap it in. Like that. Okay, I'm going to get a little bit started here. All right, I'm going to take an old lug nut, and we broke this one out. And I'm going to go ahead and thread it on here. And then I'm going to just tighten the lug nut up. This works better when you have everything brand new. And I'm going to have to hold the back. So let me grab a pair of pliers. I'll be right back. Okay, so we're back at it. Yeah, I put 3 of the studs in without you seeing, but I'm not going to let you go without watching how I did it. So I have more of them right here. So if you notice, I got my notch cut in there. So I'm just going to go ahead and line it up in here. Give it a little tap. May help a little bit. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use an old lug nut, and this one broke through, so that's what I want. I'm going to use an old lug nut to draw it out. So I'm going to put some grease on here, on the threads. Put this on there. Okay, well, I got an impact gun and a socket. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to tighten up the lug nut till it draws it all the way in on the back side. Okay, so if you come around here to this side here and look on the stud, you can see that I drew it all the way up to the hub. All right, so I just kept tightening up. Now, I'll show you. On this Euro stud right here, if you get in kind of closer in here, you can see, like, come on over here, Barnes. You can see, like, right here, there's no threads. So what I have to do in order to get the focus. All right, so there's no threads right here. So what I need to do is put a spacer on here, like a washer, and then tighten it up and then pull it. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get this socket off. There it goes. All right, so let's undo this. Oh, I guess I didn't have to take it off. Okay, so there it is. All right, so now I just put the whole thing back together. So my rotor, here's my bracket for the brakes. We'll set that on. Okay. Really kind of screwed me up on this when they switched this hub to a 1.6 from a 1.8. So, all right, so these are 14. All right. Okay. All right. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and put my brake pads on. So I've got these little clips right here. So I'm going to use some dielectric grease and just put it where the pad rides. I'm going to put a little on the bottom down here just to hold it in place. So right there. And I do the same thing with the top one. Little dielectric grease where the pad rides, and some back there to hold it in place. Like that. Okay, I got my pad, and I'll set it back on there like that. Inboard pad, the same way. Make sure I got my friction material toward the rotor. Don't put that on backwards. You've seen that happen before here. All right, yeah, there it is. All right, so now for the caliper, I'm going to go ahead and use again my caliper slide dielectric. I'm going to put it on the pin right here. That pin. Oh, man. All right. So we've been working on this car all day, and I just noticed a problem. Guess what? More work. All right. So apparently, while we were working on the car, somebody stepped on the brake and popped the piston out. This is not an easy job being a high school teacher and working on race cars here. All right. I'll be back after I get the caliper repaired. Okay, we're back. This has been like the studs from hell on this car. So what ended up happening, we were working on the exhaust yesterday. I had some kids in the car. They would start it up to see where the leaks were at, and one of them must have stepped on the brake pedal and pushed our piston out. So I've got the piston back in now, and we're ready to finish this job up to get this car out of here. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of my lube, and it doesn't take a lot, and I'm going to lube this pin up here. So right here, so I'm going to put some lube on that pin, and then I'm just going to put on my caliper and then slide it down. Don't tell me I'm going to need to back it off. Okay. There it goes. All right. Looks like this caliper needs some boots, some little hardware boots. Okay. All right. Then I have my other slider pin. I still got some on my finger. I'm going to put it on that. It goes on the lower. And then all I have to do is tighten that up. And I think the studs from hell are in. So we already bled it. We had this on there. I pushed the piston back, and then we bled it yesterday. And so I just wanted to show you what steps that was for me to finish it up. Hey, I'm looking over here and I'm seeing these screws here. And if this car was brand new, it would have a couple of Phillipses in there. Those are actually to hold the rotor on as it goes down the assembly line so that they don't fall off. What we usually do to get those off, I use a ball peen hammer and I kind of tap it, and then I put my Phillips screwdriver on there, and then I tap it and then take them off. So if you have problems taking those off, that's how I do it. Okay, it's finally done. All right, so we've got long studs on here. I had the kids do the other side. Man, they just knocked it out in no time at all. The other side was a 1.8 upright and not a 1.6. So, but hey, I wanted to get it done. I wanted to show you what it takes. I appreciate you sticking with me this far, and I'll see you at the racetrack. Bye now.